look at the vision. We want to execute. We want to do it intentfully. We're going to go back and forth here so we are aligned on the same vision and the same expectation as this project. And by us doing this is going to allow us to see eye to eye and work through all the different loopholes that might be in this process, in this project, before we go run this with the greater part of our company.
I'm in the big leagues, told her don't miss me. Ballin' like Houston, ayy, feeling like Whitney. I need a bag, bruh, send it through quickly. I'm making his dog, like I'm in the big leagues. Told him that I gotta go, dog. I'm riding the road, y'all. I think that I'm back in my bag now. So I need that go, y'all. Got hits when he throwing the fastball. Just too quick for it, peeling off like the whip orange.
Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the Do Good Movement. Our purpose here is to make a positive impact in our society through real life education. The movement comes into play when you share the content to help other people do good just like you. All my business friends out there and followers, it's going to be a tactical business podcast today on how to really move your company forward. And the only way to do that is execution and execution as a team. You know, a lot of us have this idea, what we want to do, and know how we can go do it ourselves. But there's some gaps in the process when we start including other people. So I really want to talk about how to be intentful with whatever project it's going to be, how to get your team involved, and how to move this project forward to execute as you thought in your mind and as you envisioned. First of all, you need to really understand what the vision of the project is. It can't be just a task. Like, what's the purpose of it? Why are you doing it, right? And then the purpose of that vision, your team needs to understand that as well. So go ahead and write that down. Vision, project vision, this is what it is. This is why it's important. This is why it's going to make an impact. This is why we're going to do it. There should be the why all the way through it so people understand this is why we're doing it versus I'm being told to do this. That's how you get people to think like you do, is when they understand why in the reasoning you're wanting to roll something out. So build the vision and get your team to understand that vision. Go ahead and write that out. Number two, what would be the check-ins, right? How this project, are there different steps to execute this project? How do you break it down? And so break down the project into different steps and then put roles and responsibility. What steps will people own other than yourself? Go ahead and write that down. So again, break down the project into steps and then break those steps down into roles and responsibility. And then the next thing you're going to want to put in there is a timeline. What is a timeline that this needs to get executed by? And what you're going to start with in your timeline is the final due date of the project when it's live and running and going the way that you want it to do. So once you have that date, you could back into the date for every role and responsibility in all these different steps within your project. So once you have that done, identify what the metrics are. So how do you know this project's a win? Most projects you could put numbers to. And that's basically business at the end of the day. It's data, and how do you change data to make the future better than where it is today? So what's the data that you want to be measuring? What's telling you this is going to be a win? Put numbers to whatever this project that you're trying to roll out and execute as a team. And then understand the same thing on how you did it with the project details. Break down the numbers by the role and responsibility and what they need to carry forward and do on their piece to make that big number hit. And so once you have that done, now you need to role play with yourself and your leadership team. So go through the different steps and go through the different projects and go back and forth. You present the project, you present the steps, you present the roles, you present the responsibilities, you present the deadline, you present the metrics. Now here's a big piece where people get lost as they go through this meeting one time. They go ahead and push all this content. They have this presentation and expect it to go roll out. This is the number one reason things don't get executed the way that you want it to get executed. So once you go through all of this and you have the project details and you have the breakdown on how to execute it, the ones and the leaders that are going to be rolling this forward with your team need to understand it the way you do. So before you roll this out to the greater part of the company, have your leaders now repeat that back to you. So once you downloaded them with all of this information, or you guys could have built it yourself, have them run it through you. and expect exactly how they're going to roll it out, what the roles are, what the responsibilities are, what the deadline is, what the metrics are, what the vision is, and have them go back to you as you're the student, as you're the frontline member. Did they do a good job influencing you? Do they do a good job engaging you? Do you have complete understanding of the full project? Did it leave you with questions? And then going through this back and forth, you're going to be able to write a bunch of questions down and work with that leader and help that leader build answers to those questions that might come up as a team, something that they might have said that you don't completely understand. And you're going to continue to go through this process and fine tune it. And when you do this, you need to tell the leader, whoever you're role playing with, is, again, let's look at the vision. We want to execute. We want to do it intentfully. We want to do this extremely well. We're going to go back and forth here so we are aligned on the same vision and the same expectation as this project. And by us doing this is going to allow us to see eye to eye and work through all the different loopholes that might be in this process, in this project, before we go run this with the greater part of our company. And so that way you kind of take the emotion out of it, and it allows you guys just to beat this up and beat this up and beat this up and get it close to perfect. So then once you get that side done, then you're going to want to go grab a subject matter expert, somebody that's going to be maybe in a key role running this out, whatever this project might be, somebody that's in that job today. Now you're going to bring them up into the meeting, into the planning, and go back and forth with them. Talk about the vision, why you're wanting to do it, talk about the steps that you guys created, talk about the roles and responsibilities, talk about the deadline per steps, per roles and responsibility, talk about the metrics, and then go back and forth as well with whoever that subject matter expert is and see if they have a good understanding of it, and ask, hey, I want your feedback. Educate me on this. Does this sound good? Do you get it? Is there anything that we're missing? What would you change? How should I present this differently? All those different things, because they're the ones that are going to be running with the majority of this project. And so now they're going to be able to give you feedback, and you're going to take that feedback, you're going to make adjustments to your project, make adjustments to your steps, make adjustments to your roles and responsibilities, make adjustments to your deadlines, make adjustments to your metrics, and get that person, that guy or that girl's ideas and feedback. That's now going to be inside the presentation in the execution plan that we have. And same thing you and the leader just did. Well, now it's you, the leader, and that subject matter expert are going to role play. So that subject matter expert now is going to be the one to role play it back and forth with you. And you're going to help, going through this. Again, you're going to find any loophole, anything that doesn't make sense, because the way you say it, your leader needs to be able to say it the same way, and your subject matter expert needs to be able to say it the same way. And if there's 1,000 questions at the end of it, you didn't prepare enough and you didn't do your due diligence enough to roll this out the proper way. So once you have that, you're going to have a really good execution plan on how to roll this out and making sure you have no steps missed. From there, you'll bring in the greater part of the company into it, and then that leader would then go ahead and roll it out. But not only that, don't have the leader roll out the whole plan. You're going to pull the subject matter expert that's peers with everybody on the front line that's going to jump in and help present it as well. So the team's able to hear it from not just leadership, but somebody in the same position as them that understands what they're looking at, what they're seeing, and all those different things, and how that project might affect them in a good way or a positive way. That person will know how to speak to that at best versus top down. So after that's done, then it's making sure the project is executed, right? So you go through, you train as a leadership team, you train with the subject matter expert, you roll it out to the company, they get it. Well, that exact same theory I just went through, now the leader that is responsible of the project and those people need to then go back and forth on the role play before you bring in customers or change process and all those other things. So now the leadership team and the frontline employees are going to go through the same exercise where that frontline employee is going to be repeating it back and presenting the project, the deadline, the steps, the roles and responsibilities, and the metrics back to that leader. And they're going to go back and forth until that person's comfortable with whatever their role is going to be during this. So they are an expert and they know how to talk to it just as well as whoever's at the top of the company or at the middle of the company. That's how you do it before you go ahead and start executing, because if you don't do that, guys, and you go talk to your company or go talk to your team, you could always download somebody with information, but nothing is guaranteeing they know the information and they're going to go execute it the way you're thinking it's going to be executed, unless that person that's going to be doing the work can present it back to you the way you would present it to a customer or to anybody else. So once that's going and they could do that, well, that's great. This is all training, right? This is one-on-one, but we're not doing the real life stuff. So then once that's done and people get the project and talk about it just like a normal day, when that's completed, then it's execution time. Then it's, rolling this out to the company, the process, the customers, whatever that might be, and it's game time. So when game time starts, the leader or whoever came up with the project, whoever's responsible of this from the top level, needs to be on the ground floor for a good amount of time, observing the project and making sure that it's executed the way it was envisioned. Because I guarantee when things are going, there's going to be things that were missed and things that need to be tweaked. And as you're going through it, continue to execute, watch the team do it, take notes, write down what could get better, and then have another meeting with the leadership team on, hey, here's some changes we can do, here's some tweaks we could do, update the process, update the project, go through that entire system I just talked about, hit that one more time. Then you need to follow that project sheet that we talked about, making sure that the dates are being hit. And so don't wait for that date to come up. As a leader, as an owner of this project, if you know that date's coming up, shoot something across the bow of whoever's responsible of that and just say, hey, just a reminder, next Friday, this is due, final. If there's anything you want me to look at right now, let's talk about it. Whoever built a project in the beginning has an ownership. No matter if things go good or if they go bad, you own it. So just because you put somebody's name on there that's going to be taking care of that doesn't mean you're off the hook. You need to also be that accountability partner to make sure it gets done. Now, if you're always having to remind people what to do and things are coming up, that's a different conversation, and maybe the project you need to create there is how to be organized and remember what you got to do and plan properly. Now, once that's done, start watching the metrics, because sometimes it's very easy, not sometimes, I mean all the times, right? You come up with this project because you want to change a score. Well, the last thing you want to do is do all this work and the score is not changing. So as you rolled out whatever this project is, and that score is not changing, that tells you that there's poor execution or there's poor planning. So then you need to go back to the drawing board and go through and find where the loophole is on why this isn't getting accomplished the way you want to get it, the way you want it to be accomplished, and go ahead and make those tweaks and then go roll it out. If the metrics are hitting where they should be hitting, be sure to tell the team things are going in the right direction. We're hitting our metrics and we're executing with intent on how we thought we were. Good job. But be sure, I guess the critical thing that I'm trying to say here is that metric, you need to watch that very closely, because that's the reason you came up with the project in the beginning. You don't want to come up with work just to be work. The work you do should change the score. So that is how you effectively roll out a new project, a new system, going after new customers, whatever you want to call your project. That's how you execute as a team. People need to understand it the way you do. They need to be bought in. They need to talk to the project, talk to whatever you're trying to roll out the same way you would. You guys are going to role play back and forth. You're going to make changes to it. Then you're going to go and do it. You're going to watch it being done, and you're going to make changes on the fly. But the thing that's going to tell you if it's going good or not is not just the effort that people are doing and people that get it. That's one thing. That's super important to get this across the board. It's the number, and is that number changing on whatever number you're watching? That is how you execute as a team. Hope this helped you guys today. Do good.